Machines replacing humans, world powers tightening their grip, and tensions and conflict around the world. These are terrifying Baba Vanga predictions for 2026 we pray don't come true. Baba Vanga predicted machines would start replacing human workers on a massive scale. Safe to say, that one's coming true. 2025 was the year companies stopped dipping their toes in AI and went fully in, or at least took huge steps forward with it. We already had retail chains replacing customer service staff with AI kiosks and stuff like that, but look at all these industries implementing AI now. How many companies use AI chatbots to respond to customers' emails now? And look at the entertainment industry. I see advertisements made entirely with AI all the time now, ads that used to be created by human beings, but all of a sudden, there's just a whole segment of work that's basically gone. And two major animation studios admitted they used AI to fill in background art and lighting work this year, which used to be done by teams of dozens. This is all happening really fast. No one's easing into this. Jobs that felt safe are suddenly being automated because the tools are getting too good too fast. So if this keeps accelerating through 2026, which, do we honestly think it won't? As it keeps accelerating through the new year, we could see entire industries remade in a way that leaves millions scrambling to find work that still requires a human being. Vanga talked about a dragon rising to power, a metaphorical one, of course, representing a massive alliance between Russia, India, and China. And this isn't some far-off possibility anymore. In July 2025, BRICS, consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, held its summit in Rio and officially added Indonesia as a full member, plus welcomed 11 new partner countries, including Belarus, Bolivia, Kazakhstan, Cuba, Nigeria, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Uganda, and Uzbekistan. The bloc now accounts for over 45% of global GDP and represents more than half the world's population. Trump threatened to slap an additional 10% tariff on any country aligning themselves with the quote-unquote anti-American policies of BRICS. I don't want to get into all the tariff stuff, my god, but the point is, things are really changing. Another prediction tied to the dragon is a huge rise in international conflict. Not necessarily one big war, but pressure between world powers. Vanga described a period where smaller conflicts stack up one after another until they all pretty much link together into something much bigger. A third world war, possibly. Looking at how this year's gone, that certainly seems to be how things are going, or certainly very possible. And do you really need me to explain that in detail? Just look at the state of the US and tell me things are hunky-dory. Nothing's exploded into an outright global conflict yet, but a lot can change in a very short amount of time, as we've already seen. The atmosphere definitely feels heavy. Vanga saw massive population movements, entire regions being abandoned as things get more and more unsustainable. She singled out Europe specifically, saying it would see its population crash thanks to a combination of things, but in terms of mass migration in general, natural disasters, the economy collapsing, conflict driving people out, the groundwork's already been laid. Climate disasters are getting worse across the board. The first half of 2025 was the costliest ever recorded for weather and climate disasters in the United States, with 14 events exceeding $1 billion in damages. The LA wildfires alone caused over $61 billion in damage. Around the world, natural disasters have caused more than $131 billion in losses just in the first half of 2025. Myanmar got hit with a 7.7 magnitude earthquake in March 2025 that killed an estimated 4,500 people. As of September 2025, there were 44 volcanoes around the world listed as actively erupting. That's on top of all the fires, floods, and crazy weather that just keeps getting worse every year. By the end of 2024, more than 83 million people were displaced inside their own countries, and most of them are in places that get hit hardest by climate-related mess, storms, droughts, flooding, all of it happening at once. A huge chunk of displaced people are dealing with both conflict and climate pressure at the same time. So once a place becomes too dangerous to live in, people don't really have a choice. They leave. This prediction seemed completely insane until recently. Vanga said humans would develop actual telepathy, mind-to-mind communication, but check what happened this year. Elon Musk reported in September 2025 that Neuralink had 12 trial participants with over 2,000 cumulative days and 15,000 hours of usage. This year, a paralyzed military veteran named RJ received his implant and can now control his computer and smartphone with his thoughts. One ALS patient, Bradford Smith, is typing messages straight from his brain and even uses AI chatbot Grok to help draft responses based on notes he takes mentally. Neuralink's blind sight system received FDA breakthrough device designation aimed at restoring vision to blind people. They're planning more implants, expanding trials internationally. China's only about 18 months behind Neuralink in their own brain-computer interface trials. Technology keeps advancing like this in 2026. We're looking at early forms of actual thought transmission between devices. Connect two people's brain implants through a network, and you basically got telepathy. Now, to be fair, this is something I actually am glad is happening, but it's still something people have cited Baba Vanga predicting. Vanga predicted major leaps in growing organs. In 2025, delivered. eGenesis got FDA clearance to begin formal clinical trials of their genetically modified pig kidney. The purpose, to see whether kidneys from genetically modified pigs could be safely transplanted into humans. They transplanted a pig kidney with 69 gene edits into a 66-year-old patient. These aren't theoretical anymore. These are actual human trials happening right now with real patients. Researchers at the Institute of Bioengineering of Catalonia developed technology to produce human kidney organoids at scale and successfully integrate them with pig kidneys during testing. By the way, an organoid is basically a miniature simplified copy of a human organ, like a tiny kidney or a small piece of brain that is grown in a lab dish. Scientists use them in a lab to study diseases and test new medicines. The FDA is hoping for pig kidneys to last about 30 years in humans once this becomes standard practice. In the very near future, this could accelerate to where genetically modified organs become standard and the organ transplant waiting list could actually start shrinking. People who would have died waiting might live. Life expectancy could legitimately push past 120 if this technology scales up and becomes more accessible. Again, admittedly, another prediction of hers we do hope comes true, but this next one is a toss-up. This is the prediction everyone either dismisses, is terrified of, or, if you're a sci-fi nerd like me, gets very excited about. Vanga said humanity would make definitive, undeniable contact with extraterrestrial life in 2026. Not speculation, not mysterious objects that might be something up in the sky, but confirmed contact. She also specified it would happen during a major sporting event, and we do have the Olympics coming up in a couple months. If I were an alien species waiting to make contact at a major sporting event, that'd be the one I'd choose, being that it's a big global thing. The prediction also mentioned this contact could lead to a global crisis or apocalypse though. So maybe we're not ready for this. Maybe whoever shows up is not friendly. Maybe finding out you're not alone breaks something fundamental of how we see ourselves and our place in the universe. Or perhaps this encounter leads to a big, shift in our understanding of the universe that changes us, leading to a shift or end to the current way our society is structured. That could be, another way of interpreting the apocalypse thing. Right now, we've got something like 44 volcanoes constantly erupting across the globe. Iceland's Sundukar crater system has gone off 9 times between December 2023 and August of 2025. It's been chaotic there. Parts of Ethiopia have been rocked by multiple earthquakes since early 2025. Even tourist spots like Santorini in Greece that had a huge tremor swarm earlier this year, thousands of quakes, with 48 being strong ones. All of this suggests things could be getting more unstable under the surface. At the same time, climate change is making things worse by creating harsher conditions that cause massive wildfires. For 2026, Vanga saw this ramping up significantly. Dormant volcanoes that haven't been active in centuries suddenly waking up, major earthquakes, massive flooding, the kind of disasters that make places unlivable for months or even years. And I know I keep touching on this, but Baba Vanga also ominously predicted environmental collapse entirely. The first 6 months, as I said, of 2025 hit the US with the most expensive run of weather disasters they've ever seen. And the whole world is facing an estimated $145 billion bill this year just for things that were insured. And that number keeps going up every year. It's been over $100 billion for 5 years straight now. And the actual total damage is way worse than that. We're seeing the scary signs everywhere. Oceans rising, extreme weather becoming a constant problem instead of a rare one. Places that used to be great for farming are simply burning out. Drought is the single biggest enemy to agriculture, hitting places like Mexico, where drastically cut corn crops in 2024. The whole thing creates a massive domino effect. As the environment collapses, the systems we've built on it, food, water, health, they all go with it. And I'll cheat here a bit and end on a high note. One of the more famous claims made by the blind mystic is the discovery of a completely new energy source, something clean, powerful, and basically limitless. People have been using this prediction to hype up everything from nuclear fusion to alien technology. Fusion actually made a big jump this year. The challenge with fusion is that you have to heat fuel hotter than the sun and then hold that super hot material called plasma in place without letting it touch the reactor walls. In February, a major lab in France achieved a world record by sustaining that super hot plasma for over 22 minutes. Why is that important? For fusion to work as a power plant, you need a stable reaction that lasts for a long time. So this 22-minute achievement proves we can keep that intense heat contained for longer than ever before. And in September, a US startup claimed their prototype reactor could run small facilities off fusion power for the first time. No one knows if they're overselling it, but investors dumped millions into it instantly. Something big gets proven in 2026, a stable, long-duration fusion reaction that would match this prediction almost perfectly. It wouldn't fix the world overnight, but it would change everything about how we power the world. Well, that's been the video for today. I will catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.